Firebird and the Cold Tech CEO. Chapter 1. The Ghost in the Code. Scene 1. Cassandra. The room is a cathedral of cold blue light. Screens curve like a crescent moon around Cassandra XIE, the titanesses of Orion Tech, her sharp silhouette a contrast to the gentle hum of servers whispering secrets. She sits motionless, a predator in stillness, eyes sharp, scanning, hunting. On her main display, a string of code winks twice, then vanishes. A subtle shiver, a digital pulse, a ghost in her fortress. Cassandra. Muttering. A ghost in the system, not enough to crash, just enough to whisper. Her screen flickers. The code shifts, a silent alarm blinking beneath the surface. Cassandra. Low, almost a caress. A shadow playing in my kingdom. Someone slipped through the cracks. She leans forward, every neuron firing. The hunt has begun. Cassandra, murmuring. Not one of mine. A rogue string of code flickers. Firebird _access_709, tagged from an unknown source. She straightens. Intrigued. Her fingers dance, lightning strikes on glass, tracing the phantom footprints like a maestro conducting chaos. The faintest flicker of a pattern emerges. Cassandra. Smiling cold. Not enough to break my walls, but bold enough to say, I'm here. She leans back, eyes burning with a storm that promises a war only she can see coming. Cassandra Xia, the relentless visionary CEO. She was born in Singapore, raised between Shanghai and Silicon Valley. Built Orion Tech from her garage during university, now runs the multi-billion-dollar empire with clinical precision. She has a history with betrayal. Her mentor stole early ideas. Trust issues? Locked behind a diamond-encrypted firewall. Now she is calculating, decisive, hyper-intelligent, a strategist with sharp edges. She uses charm and intimidation as tools, not emotions, and speaks in calm, measured tones, even when furious. Always in immaculately tailored black suits, minimal gold jewelry. Her office is an obsidian skyscraper with a scent of leather and ozone, and her tech, a seamless and beautiful interface, cold, elegance incarnate. Control is her oxygen. Losing grip is her deepest fear. She's fascinated by minds she can't predict. Her personal legacy matters more than public approval. Scene 2. Phoenix enters. The night breathes neon, a city that never truly sleeps, pulses in rhythm with 1,000 untold secrets. Phoenix, mid-30s, fierce and untamed, sits hunched over a tangle of wires and glowing screens in a cramped apartment plastered with hacker propaganda and half-drunk energy drinks. Her undercut blazes with electric streaks, a living glitch herself. Fingers flicker over keys like fireflies trapped in a storm. The world outside doesn't exist, only this digital maze. Phoenix. Grinning, half to herself. Easy peasy. Wait. This encryption? She's flirting back. Her eyes narrow, sparks of curiosity mixing with adrenaline. Phoenix. Mocking, playful. Well, looks like I just crashed the wrong party. She leans in, obsidian ponytail catching the glow, a wildfire daring to burn in a place designed to be fireproof. Phoenix Reyes, the rule-bending hacker. Grew up in Cape Town's gritty backstreets, part of activist circles since her teens. She is a self-taught coder, data liberator. Worked with underground collectives to leak corporate crimes. Lost someone due to a corrupt company cover-up. Revenge runs in her veins. Phoenix Reyes is sarcastic, fiercely clever, emotionally guarded, but cracks jokes under pressure. Lives by the motto, code is poetry, hacking is performance art. And relies on intuition and impulse. Chaos is her comfort zone. Tattoos of fractals and encryption keys adorn her arms. Combat boots, hoodies laced with fiber optics, her workspace, neon, wires, graffiti, and late-night jazz. Cassandra didn't need her cybersecurity team to analyze the intrusion. She didn't trust anyone enough for that. Besides, the ghost inside her system was too clever, too personal. She traced the code herself, fingers gliding across glass, eyes like ice narrowing in real time. A signature emerged. Sloppy, but brilliant. Intentional, almost teasing. Cassandra, half smiling to herself. She wanted to be found. She laid bait. A trail of vulnerabilities, each one carefully coded, polished, irresistible. Cassandra didn't want to eject the hacker. She wanted to watch her come closer. Across the world, Phoenix Reyes tilted her head at the anomalies she now saw glowing like breadcrumbs. Intrigue replaced certainty. Phoenix, typing, amused. Is this a trap or a treasure hunt? A beat. Either way, I'm in. Cassandra Sia rarely doubted herself. But this time, her instincts weren't just tingling, they were clawing. The glitches weren't random. They were deliberate, laced with personality. And personality had fingerprints. She hovered over a profile Phoenix, didn't know she had a backdoor alias buried in a 2014 whistleblower raid. The name matched code from Echo Key, a rogue data liberation collective with a body count. Cassandra, to herself, quiet but sharp. So, you're not just a thief, you're a ghost from a fire. She watched encrypted footage Phoenix in an abandoned substation, delivering a final transmission. It wasn't elegant. It was raw. Passion in pixels. And behind it, sorrow. Across the world, Phoenix was starting to suspect she'd picked the wrong server. Phoenix, muttering as she scrolls. This wasn't pharma. This smells like legacy tech and trauma. What the hell did I plug into? She opened the leaked files by mistake. Inside, Cassandra's original algorithm, tied to surveillance programs used by governments Phoenix had spent her life resisting. Her pulse fluttered. She'd hacked into the belly of everything she'd fought against. And she wasn't alone in here. Phoenix, to herself. Either she's corrupted, or she's hiding something bigger than a firewall. Cassandra initiated the encounter. Encrypted chat. No avatars. No context. Just two digital minds in collision. The screen flickered. The interface stabilized. And then, Cassandra typing. Cute code. Almost as messy as your trail. Phoenix. Flattery? You must be bored. Cassandra. Only with amateurs. Phoenix. Wow. You corporate types really do flirt with spreadsheets, huh? Cassandra laughed, an involuntary exhale, quiet and sharp. She wasn't sure what she was chasing anymore. A threat? A talent? Or something far more disruptive? And Phoenix? She was supposed to be sabotaging, stealing data for a cause. But now she couldn't stop smiling at every line Cassandra sent. Phoenix. You've got style. For someone who probably wears black and eats contracts for breakfast. Cassandra. Black's elegant. And contracts don't scream when you bite them. The digital dance had begun. Playful. Calculated. And dangerously alive. Neither woman knew the full shape of the other. But they felt the edges. And neither stepped away. Lines of code ripple between them, each message a tease, a test, a dance of dominance. Cassandra's fingers hover, then tap. The game is no longer about defense, but desire. Cassandra. You left breadcrumbs. Bold move. Or foolish. Phoenix. Only fools never follow a trail. I like a little danger with my coffee. The chat pulses, tension sparking with every word, a battle of minds and hearts played out in encrypted whispers. Cassandra's world narrows to a single thread, a digital signature traced through layers of firewalls and shadows, now alive on the streets of Cape Town. Screens flicker with faces, places, data streams, her obsession taking shape. Old conference footage plays, Phoenix laughing, sharp eyes catching every detail, every habit. A pattern emerges, a heartbeat she can track. Cassandra leans closer, voice low, more to herself than anyone else. Cassandra. Whispers fierce. Found you, Firebird. Cassandra didn't send a warning. She sent coordinates. An invitation. Meet me. Phoenix, reading the message aloud. Latitude. Altitude. No context. Either a trap or a confession. Beat, guess it's both. Two women. Two legacies. One collision course. And beneath their code, ghosts were stirring. Chapter 2. The Cafe Collision. Manhattan was dressed in rain and caffeine. Phoenix Reyes chose her seat carefully, corner table, eyes to the door, black hoodie layered over combat boots. She hadn't planned to meet anyone today, much less the woman whose system she cracked open like a storybook. Cassandra Sia arrived 20 minutes early, as always. No entourage. Just grace sharpened into geometry. Black suit, no umbrella, hair pulled back like command. Phoenix didn't rise to greet her. Cassandra didn't expect her to. Phoenix. Smirking. So, you tracked me through my latte art addiction? Cassandra. Smiling sharp. Only amateurs leave data crumbs in whipped cream. Cassandra, placing her cup down, even. I expected more neon. Or possibly fire. Phoenix, without looking up. I expected you to be taller. Cassandra. You expected me? Phoenix, smirking. I like puzzles. You felt unsolved. There was no handshake. No official tone. Just two women, sliding knives into sentences. Cassandra. You accessed an encrypted node labeled Orion_prototype. That server is the spine of my company. My legacy. My mother's legacy. Phoenix, leaning in, amused. Then maybe label your secrets better. I thought I was stealing pharma files. Turns out I hacked into guilt incarnate. Cassandra's fingers tightened on the porcelain cup. Not from offense. From recognition. Cassandra, quietly. You know what guilt looks like. You speak like someone who wears it daily. Phoenix, I wear grief. Guilt implies control. And suddenly the air wasn't thick with threat anymore. It was heavy with history. Parallel lives. The kind that doesn't touch. Until they do. Cassandra tapped the table once, decisively. Cassandra. There's someone manipulating your code. A third party. They're targeting both of us. If we continue fighting each other, we'll both lose. Worse, others will. Phoenix, skeptical. And you want to team up? Cassandra. I want to survive. Teaming up with chaos might be my only option. Phoenix, grinning. Corporate queens learning to improvise. I'm flattered. They didn't smile because it was safe. They smiled because it wasn't. And because something inside both of them, something long buried under precision and fury, was beginning to flicker. Possibility. Cassandra Sia, built from broken blueprints. She has childhood trauma. At age 10, her parents were embroiled in a tech espionage scandal in Shanghai. Her mother vanished during the investigation, and Cassandra never knew if it was exile, escape, or execution. Left in the care of her distant father, who forced her to study relentlessly. Every achievement was met with a blank stare or do better. She learned to hide feelings behind performance, saw vulnerability as weakness, and success as survival. And she has secret past. While at Stanford, she created an encryption algorithm that accidentally powered surveillance for authoritarian regimes. When she found out, she tried to dismantle it, but it was too late. She's buried this truth deep within Orion's foundations. Only one file remains, tucked in a secret drive titled Ghosts. Phoenix Reyes raised in ashes. Her childhood trauma. Her older sister was a whistleblower who disappeared after leaking medical trial corruption in South Africa. Phoenix idolized her. The day she vanished was the day Phoenix decided to learn how systems worked and break them. Grew up couch surfing with activist groups, learning coding from disillusioned engineers and anarchist hackers. She always felt like she had to fight harder to be taken seriously. Her grief hardened into defiance. Phoenix's secret past. Phoenix once worked covertly for a data liberation collective called Echo Key. She used her skills to expose companies, but one mission caused a fatal power blackout. Someone died. She fled, erased her record, but one encrypted trail remains. She still wears a ring her sister gave her, etched with the binary for Trust No System. Flashback to Cassandra Sia again, CEO, survivor, architect of control, age 10. The disappearance. It was a rainy night in Shanghai when Cassandra's mother tucked a USB drive into a teddy bear's seam and whispered, "If they take me, remember. Trust no name, only the code." The next morning, she was gone. Cassandra rewatches surveillance clips of that night every year. No entries, no exits. Just static. Emotional fallout. Cassandra channels grief into algorithms, precision over pain. She's never spoken publicly about her mother, and that bear now lives in a glass case behind her desk. She hates static. On screens, in relationships. It reminds her of the night that rewired her. A secret file, Orion_origin.jpg, an image buried in Orion's founder logs, a young Cassandra presenting that same algorithm, the one later weaponized. She's smiling. Behind her, the mentor who betrayed her beams, hand on her shoulder. She's cropped him out in every public version, but the original file still lives. Flashback to Phoenix Reyes again, hacker, fighter, shadow operative. Age 14, sister's final transmission. Phoenix watched her sister on a pixelated livestream, exposing trial data on children being tested with unapproved meds. That night, armed men burst into their safe house. Phoenix escaped through a window and ran until her lungs felt like glass. Her sister was never found. The emotional fallout. She wears a ring with her sister's fingerprint etched inside, only visible under UV light. Her sarcasm masks survivor's guilt. She thinks if she were faster, louder, better, she might have saved her. She hacked the trial servers years later, exposing the corruption. But no arrests came, just silence. Secret file. Echo_deaddrop.avi on a buried USB, a video clip from Echo Key, timestamped months after Phoenix's supposed departure. She's in the corner, face half-lit, whispering coordinates. This was her unauthorized final op, the one that caused the blackout. She keeps the file under a folder named regret.exe. Chapter 3. The Vault and the Mother. The offshore vault was carved into the belly of a forgotten cliffside, a place where servers hummed like sleepless gods. Phoenix Reyes adjusted her fiber-optic hoodie, boots soaked in rain. Cassandra stood beside her, silent as steel. They broke in like ghosts. No alarms. Just algorithms and intent. Deep inside, the Vault AI scanned Cassandra's biometrics and responded with a flicker. Vault AI, voice, feminine and haunting. Welcome, Cassandra. Protocol Xian initiated. The wall split. A hidden holoprojector engaged. A hologram shimmered into life. A woman graceful, sharp-eyed, voice soft like mathematical rain. Xian Xia. Cassandra's mother. Phoenix exhaled slowly. Cassandra didn't breathe. Xian, hologram. If you're seeing this, the world has broken you as it broke me. But you're still choosing what it becomes. Phoenix, whispering. She's beautiful. Cassandra, barely audible. She was lightning in structure. The hologram listed what the original algorithm was meant to be, a tool for protecting whistleblowers, not tracking dissent. Cassandra's empire had grown on its bones, twisted, capitalized, buried. Phoenix moved closer to the projected woman, eyes flickering with grief. Phoenix, you turned her into a firewall. Cassandra, tensely. I buried her in code because it was the only place the world couldn't touch. Phoenix, angrily. You used me to get here. You used her. Cassandra's composure cracked, just a hairline fracture, the kind that leaks silence. She turned to Phoenix. Cassandra, you think I did this for revenge? I did it to understand. I don't trust anyone's version of the past, not even mine. Phoenix, stepping back. You erase the truth to build legacy. I hack systems to find it. We're not the same. Before Cassandra could reply, alarms surged. The third-party infiltrator had arrived, piggybacking through Phoenix's long-forgotten code, attacking what was left of Orion in real time. They had to run. Together. They sprint through the echoing hallways. Phoenix kills vault sensors with agile hacks. Cassandra decrypts door sequences mid-run. For 5 minutes, they don't speak. Just action, syncopated by adrenaline and old pain. They crash into a safe house bunker by dawn, an underground spot Phoenix once used during Echo Key ops. Dusty, neon-lit, walls covered in graffiti and strings of fiber-optic wires humming like nervous energy. Phoenix throws a towel onto a console, furious. Cassandra sits, drenched, distant. Phoenix, you should have told me. I would have helped. But you used me. Cassandra, finally letting herself break. Because I don't know how to ask for help. I only know how to offer power. Phoenix, softening. I'm not looking for power. I'm looking for something real. The room pulsed with soaked silence. Cassandra runs her hand across a table etched with binary script. Cassandra, reading. Truth lives in chaos. That yours? Phoenix softly. My sister wrote it. Before they silenced her. Cassandra nods. And then, finally sits. The woman who built empires to stay standing, choosing instead to rest. Phoenix walked over, stood inches from Cassandra, not asking, not pushing, just staying. And Cassandra Sia, woman of glass empires and cold code, closed her eyes. She didn't reach for Phoenix. She simply let Phoenix stay. It was the beginning of something healing, of something hard, of something true. Chapter 4: The Reckoning and the Leak. The rooftop of Orion's oldest data center was soaked in lightning and memory. Phoenix pulled her hood down, rain streaking over her cheekbones. Cassandra Sia faced the wind like she'd trained for it. Standing opposite them is Adrian Kessler, former Orion CTO, banished years ago for unauthorized code manipulation. Until now, presumed off-grid. But it was him all along, the third-party phantom, manipulating Phoenix's backdoor and slowly corrupting Orion from within. Adrian, smirking. So, the prodigal CEO and her cyber ghost. Cute reunion. I always knew your mother's code would crawl back from the grave. Cassandra, coldly. Your vendetta rewired my company. You used Phoenix as bait. Phoenix, sharply. Didn't expect your boogeyman to look like a LinkedIn failure. Adrian, stepping forward. You both built cathedrals of delusion. Cassandra with her legacy complex. Phoenix with her rebel romanticism. I simply corrected the lie. Phoenix, igniting a tracer code. This correction led to 3 deaths during a blackout op. A beat, you used Echo Key. You killed what we stood for. Cassandra's jaw tightens. She pulls up her hollow interface, overlaying decrypted logs onto the rooftop glass wall. They shimmer in midair, proof of Adrian's sabotage. Cassandra. This is everything you corrupted. And everything we're leaking tonight. Adrian, mocking. You'll kill Orion. Phoenix, quietly, to Cassandra. Are you ready to burn your empire? Cassandra exhales. Her finger hovers over the interface. Cassandra. I built it from betrayal. Maybe truth is its only worthy end. Phoenix watches her. Not calculating. Not testing. Just present. Phoenix. Then let's burn the lie. They press send together. The leak hits global servers like a virus with purpose. Orion's internal crimes, Adrian's manipulations, the buried origins of Xi'Yan's behavioral code all go public. Social channels explode. Whistleblowers resurface. Protests begin. Phoenix and Cassandra retreat to the safe house, running silent diagnostics as the world unfolds. Phoenix. You could have buried it all. Reinforce the firewall. Cassandra, staring at code. I buried my mother for 20 years. I think it's time she spoke. Phoenix, softly. And what about you? Cassandra meets her eyes. Cassandra. I spent so long controlling everything, I forgot what it felt like to need someone. Phoenix's walls flicker. Just a moment. Phoenix. Careful. That almost sounded human. Cassandra smirks, a crack in obsidian. Cassandra. Don't get used to it. Phoenix, grinning. Oh, I plan to. Very slowly. With lots of sarcasm. They sit together, 2 women forged by secrets, finally rewriting their own. The world reacts. Orion Tech collapses under the weight of truth. Cassandra is summoned to testify before global ethics councils, while Phoenix's voice surges through activist networks. But they've gone silent, disappeared into a forgotten coastal safe house surrounded by wind, water, and analog silence. Phoenix's boot hits driftwood. Cassandra's on the porch, barefoot, in linen, her armor stripped away. Phoenix, dryly. So, this is your hideout style. Unshaven data and beach humidity. Cassandra smirks. And you thought I couldn't do bohemian regret. They don't speak for hours. Just sit with waves and coding tablets, drafting a joint framework for a post-Orion Tech collective. Transparency first, encrypted ethics, AI built to liberate. A blueprint from the wreckage. Later, inside the safe house, dim light. A bottle of wine between them, half forgotten. A conversation sharpens from quiet to confession. Phoenix. Never thought you'd burn down $1 billion tower for someone like me. Cassandra. I didn't. I burned it down for someone like her. Nods at a photo of her mother, but you made it feel worth watching fall. Phoenix, softening. Do you regret it? Cassandra. Yes. But I regret more who I was before I met you. Phoenix leans in, carefully, like touching a system she's afraid to overload. Phoenix. Careful. You'll make me think the Ice Queen has a soul. Cassandra. Only for hackers in combat boots. Chapter 5. Building Flame. They create Centra, a rebel tech incubator. Their mission: to support whistleblower platforms, protect vulnerable communities, and disrupt surveillance culture. Every founding line of code is written side by side, fight-born, heart-driven. Phoenix leads outreach, stirring minds like wildfire. Cassandra rebuilds quietly, elegantly, infrastructure forged from guilt and hope. They argue still. They flirt still. And on some nights, when the stars fracture just right, they reach across the distance. Phoenix. So, what are we? Cassandra whispers, two women who were broken by systems. And now, breaking them together. They don't label it. But it grows. The rain had stopped, but everything else was still soaked: the air, the silence, the things they hadn't said. Phoenix sat hunched at the edge of the safehouse's battered couch, fingers fidgeting with the ring etched in binary. Cassandra stood by the window, watching dawn crawl across the sea like code scrolling in real time. Phoenix, voice low. You ever wonder what it would have been like if none of this happened? If we met at a cafe instead of a firestorm? Cassandra. I wouldn't have talked to you. A pause, not because I didn't want to, because I wouldn't have known how. Phoenix chuckled, soft, tired. It wasn't sarcasm. It was admission. Phoenix. My sister used to say pain makes people either poetic or predictable. Cassandra. And you became both. Phoenix raises an eyebrow. You saying I'm poetic? Cassandra, half smile. I'm saying you're not predictable. Phoenix looked at her, eyes lit with something raw, something unresolved. The kind of stare that wasn't looking for answers, just presence. Cassandra, crossing the room. When we triggered the leak, I felt everything I'd buried crack open. And I didn't panic. Not because I'm brave. Because you were next to me. Phoenix, quietly. I wanted to run. I always do. But then I thought, if you're standing in the rubble, I should be too. A silence stretched between them. Neither one filled it. Instead, Cassandra sat beside Phoenix, close enough for the gravity to shift. Phoenix, barely audible. You still building from control? Cassandra. Not anymore. Now I'm building from truth. Phoenix reached up, just lightly, fingers brushing Cassandra's cheek like a test, like permission. Cassandra didn't flinch. She leaned into it. They didn't kiss. Not yet. But they didn't need to. Touch, breath, closeness, it was enough. The moment wasn't about passion. It was about survival. About having someone there when the world finally exhaled. Later, Phoenix is asleep on Cassandra's shoulder, breathing steady for once. Cassandra studies her profile, fire tucked into silence. She thinks of her mother, her empire, her regret. Then she closes the tablet displaying the Orion postmortem. The future, she realizes, won't be written in spreadsheets anymore. It will be written in this: reckless hope, earned trust, and the kind of connection that makes rebuilding feel possible. She watched Phoenix sleep. Not out of analysis, but longing. Something unfamiliar but real. Cassandra, softly. Even in sleep, you fight. I wonder what in your dreams needs hacking. Phoenix stirred. Eyes slowly opened, lazy focus sharpening into that familiar smirk. Phoenix. You talk to sleeping people often? Or just rebels with great hair? Cassandra, sipping. You think your hair is great? Phoenix. You think it isn't? They fell into easy silence again. Not avoidance. Not tension. Just comfort. Like they'd finally stopped auditioning for survival. Phoenix sat up. They sit side by side, knees brushing. Rain dripped outside. Somewhere a bird tried a tune, failed, tried again. Phoenix, serious now. I still hear her. My sister. In codes. In static. Cassandra. I still see my mother. In algorithms she never meant for the world to warp. Phoenix. Then maybe we're not rebuilding from scratch. We're rebuilding from memory. Cassandra reached out carefully. She tucked a stray curl behind Phoenix's ear. No performance. No calculation. Just touch. Phoenix didn't flinch. Phoenix, quiet. You sure you're not going to ghost me the next time duty calls? Cassandra, gentle. I ghosted everything for years. For legacy. For shame. But this. This stays. Their hands laced not in hunger, but in grounding. And for the first time, neither woman felt like she was slipping. Chapter 6. Foundations. By month's end, the Center Initiative is alive and growing, a new tech collective built by outcasts, fueled by memory, and fronted by two women who still weren't used to standing still. On every data thread, their names pinged: Sia, Reyes, Phoenix, Cassandra. No one knew where the myth ended, and the women began. Inside the command loft, Phoenix pulled on a worn hoodie and stared at the projection table. Cassandra approached slowly, carrying not code or caffeine, but a folded photo from the past. Cassandra. She sent this before everything cracked. My sister. Said I needed to remember who I was building for. Phoenix, looking at the photo. She smiled like she knew her world wouldn't hold. Cassandra. Or like she believed we'd build something better. The silence between them wasn't empty, it was charged. Not just with memory, but with ambition, risk, and something frighteningly close to devotion. The screens around them flared with notifications. Interviews. Threats. Partnerships. Politics. The machine had woken. Phoenix. We're public now. No code to hide behind. No underground leaks. Just us. Cassandra, soft. And us scares me less than it used to. Later that night, after the final briefings and encrypted calls, Phoenix found Cassandra in the archive hall, surrounded by floating data glyphs, each one pulsing with stories lost. Phoenix, quiet. Do you ever wonder what we'll lose by leading? Cassandra. All the time. But I think we're done being ghosts. Phoenix. Then let's be flame. She reached out, not to tether, but to steady. And Cassandra met her halfway. The kiss was soft at first, but then Cassandra deepened it. Phoenix clung to her like she is the only thing keeping her afloat. A soft moan escapes Cassandra's mouth and Phoenix pulls her tighter. The world outside, the betrayal, stolen codes, and lost family forgotten for a moment as they melt into each other. Cassandra pulls away first, both breathless, resting her forehead against Phoenix. Cassandra, smiling. I think you just broke my code. They laugh, and then their lips meet again. The alarm on the monitor pulls them apart. The glyphs shimmered around them, code and memory, trauma and fire. And inside all of it, choice. It began with a breach. Not in code. In memory. Phoenix traced the anomaly through layers of Centra's network until it led her to a subroutine, ghost-coded with Sia's old encryption. But this wasn't Cassandra's work. It was from someone Phoenix hadn't seen in 6 years. Phoenix, tight. This patch, it was built with her heartbeat. Sil. My sisters. Cassandra. She's gone, Phoenix. Phoenix, quietly. Or someone wants me to believe that. Phoenix followed the thread into the archives alone. She bypassed security. Avoided Cassandra's gaze. And in the last chamber, where digitized memories bled like fog, she saw him. Lucien Graves, old ally. Former lover. The man who pulled her from fire once and vanished into silence. Lucien. You weren't supposed to find this. Phoenix, cold. Then maybe you shouldn't have coded it in her name. Lucien. She's alive. But she's not the sister you lost. She's under Directive 8. Contained. Modified. Her breath caught like static. Directive 8. A black site program that repurposed minds for high-risk surveillance. Phoenix backed away. Memory bent. Trust cracked. Phoenix, shaking. You knew. You built Echo Key beside me. And still. Lucien. I built it because of her. I stayed close because I knew it'd be who could burn the chain. Back at the loft, Cassandra intercepted Lucien's signal before he could vanish again. Her voice sliced through the channel like wire. Cassandra, deadly. You tried to fracture her past. You won't fracture her future. Lucian. Funny. I always thought you'd be the one to walk. Phoenix broke the connection, fingers trembling. She stood in silence, the kind that doesn't soothe, just stings. And then slowly, she turned to Cassandra. Phoenix. If Syl is still alive, I have to go. Cassandra. Then I'll go with you. Chapter 7. The Black Site and the Lost Sister. The Black Site was buried beneath 9 layers of dead code and forgotten clearance. Phoenix and Cassandra dropped into it masked, not by tech, but by resolve. Their mission was simple, find Syl. But nothing in Directive 8 was ever simple. Phoenix, through comms. We're breaching memory architecture. Feeds are fragmenting. Cassandra, steely. Stay tethered. To me. No matter what shows up. Inside, the facility pulsed. Not with security, but heartbeat. Artificial and real. Phoenix slipped past biometric locks, her fingers trembling like she already felt her sister's pulse under her skin. And in the last cell, sealed behind algorithmic fog, was Syl. Syl, flat. You shouldn't have come. Phoenix, quiet. You still sound like her. Even if they rewrote everything else. Syl stepped forward. Her eyes didn't hold recognition, only calculation. But something flickered when she looked at Cassandra. Syl. You brought a ghost. Cassandra, soft. No. She brought a home. Phoenix reached out. Syl didn't flinch. But her pulse spiked. Directive 8 had overwritten memory fragments. Family. Names. Empathy. But not everything was gone. Some things stay even when erased. Phoenix, pleading. I don't want to trigger you. I want to hold you. Syl, fractured. There's no holding me. There's only exit code. Cassandra activated a glyph, a memory loop from before Syl was taken. It played in flickers, laughter. Heat. A rooftop rebellion. Syl blinked. Her breath caught. She whispered one word, Phoenix, tears catching. You remember. Syl. I remember the pain. And the love that burned through it. Then the alarms flared. The facility detected breach. Agents swarmed. Phoenix turned to Syl. Phoenix. Run with me. Syl, smiling, breaking. I'll burn with you. They escaped through a service tunnel, past dying glyphs and leaking memories. And when they reached the surface, the sun split the cloud in a single, golden line. Phoenix, Cassandra, and Syl, fractured, furious, and finally together. Morning broke on the roof of the safe house like a question that insisted on being answered. The city felt aware of them now, billboards that glanced back, drones that drifted a beat too slow. The 3 of them stood close, but not crowded. Phoenix, Cassandra, Syl. The choice was simple and impossible. Tell the world. Or let the world keep telling them. Phoenix, steady. We go live tonight. But only if you want to, Syl. Syl, even. I won't be your proof. I'll be my voice. Cassandra, soft. Then we define the frame. No spectacle. Only consent. By afternoon, Centra's channels pulsed. Not with rumor, with receipts. A dossier on Directive 8, redacted memos, anonymized survivor accounts, code paths that lit like arteries. At the end of every thread, a single statement. We refuse to use broken bodies as ladders. We refuse to call theft a future. The countdown for the stream began at 10 minutes. The city leaned in. Live stream, Centra HQ, 2000 hours. Cassandra, on camera. My name is Cassandra CEO. My family's work was repurposed into something I cannot defend. We built Centra for repair, not conquest. We're here to document harm and to return power to the people it was taken from. Phoenix. My name is Phoenix Reyes. They thought a leak would drown us. It didn't. It made us breathe different. Tonight isn't revenge. It's reclamation. Syl, stepping forward. I am Syl Reyes. I survived Directive 8. I am not a headline. I am not a tool. I am not your redemption arc. Beat. I will show you 3 things I choose to share. Nothing else. The first, a blurred memory loop of 2 sisters on a roof, passing a chipped mug and daring dawn to find them. The second, a gray corridor, a hand reaching for hers and being turned into a metric. The third, a pulse in the dark that wouldn't stop, no matter how they rewrote it. When the loop ended, Sil looked into the lens like it owed her attention. Sil, if you are a survivor, you don't owe anyone your pain. If you are complicit, you owe repair. Start with listening. Then dismantle what you benefit from. Cassandra. Centra is establishing a survivors' council, led by survivors, resourced by us, with the right to veto any initiative in their name. We start by funding care, legal defense, and data reclamation. No cameras. No conditions. Phoenix. And for those running Directive 8, come into the light. Or the light will find you. The stream cut to black on purpose. No Q&A. No spectacle. Just a door opened. The city answered. Not with one sound, but millions. Survivors don't owe us anything. We owe them everything. Sia went on record. That's not nothing. Counterclaim says it's fabricated. Of course they say that. I work there. It's real. I'm afraid. Me too. Outside the Centra building, candles gathered like quiet constellations. Someone taped a handwritten note to the door. You're not alone. Power didn't sit still. It never does. By midnight, a counter-narrative bloomed, deepfake clips, forged timestamps, a leaked audit that accused Centra of staging survivors. The smear was engineered to look clumsy, so the anger would feel organic. Cassandra skimmed the packet, jaw tight. Phoenix read the header and laughed, but there was no humor in it. Phoenix. They want to fight in the mud. Cassandra. Then we don't give them mud. We give them math and humans. Sil, quiet. And silence where silence is safety. At dawn, Cassandra walked into a boardroom she'd avoided since she learned who she didn't want to be. The Sia Foundation had requested a conversation. She arrived with a single page and a boundary. Cassandra, across polished glass. I'm dissolving all licensing agreements that allow derivative use of our early research for surveillance. We'll absorb the penalties. We'll fund the transition. A silence thick enough to chew. Then the usual words, irresponsible, impulsive, betrayal of legacy. She didn't flinch. Cassandra. I'm done feeding a machine that eats her sister's face. She left before they could decide whether to love or punish her. On the way out, a young engineer slipped her a note. Thank you for saying no. Back at the loft, Sil sat with a clinician and a poet, both survivors, both fluent in memory work. No cameras. No screens. Just language, breath, and a basin of water to cool shaking hands. Clinician. What do you need our sessions to protect? Sil, after a pause. My right to be ordinary. And my right to rage. They wrote it down like a contract. Not the kind you sign away, the kind you keep. Lucian's name arrived as a tremor, not a knock. An encrypted packet hit Centra's dead drop. Logs from Directive 8's satellite branch. No signature, just a final line. I owe repair. This is what I can pay. Phoenix stared at the code until the edges went soft. Cassandra stood behind her, a hand hovering like an oath she wouldn't force. Phoenix, horse. I don't know how to forgive him. Cassandra. Then don't. Forgiveness is an ode. Boundaries are. Phoenix. Boundaries can be love, too. Cassandra, meeting her eyes. They're the only kind that lasts. That night, they climbed the roof. Not to hide, to refuse hiding. The skyline beat in neon and noise. Somewhere below, someone played a song with a bass line that felt like a possible future. Phoenix reached for Cassandra's hand. Not clandestine. Not strategic. Public, but for them. Phoenix. No more ghosts. Cassandra. Only embers. And the flame we choose. A drone drifted by, curious. Phoenix raised their joined hands like a dare. The drone blinked green and moved on. Reverb is the sound of a note refusing to be alone. It's also the way feedback can shatter glass. At 3:17, Centra's perimeter lit with a second breach. Not an attack. A mimic. The signature was Sil's. Sil sat up in bed as the alert blared. She wasn't at a console. She wasn't touching a thing. But the system swore it was her. Sil, low, furious. They're trying to turn my voice into a weapon again. Phoenix, already moving. Not on our watch. Cassandra. I'll lock the external routes. Sil, you set the rules for how we trace this. Your voice, your call. Sil, standing. Rule 1. We don't break anyone to save me. She stepped into the command room, hair tied back, jaw set. Not a relic. Not a symbol. A person claiming her name, again and again until it stayed. The city waited for the next note. Chapter 8. Feedback. The mimic code traced back to a defunct surveillance node beneath old Sector 9, a place so outdated, its blueprints were drawn in analog. Sil led the strike team, flanked by survivors fluent in trauma and tech. Phoenix followed, hands steady. Cassandra stayed at command, recalibrating channels so Sil could speak unfiltered. They didn't ask for permission. They claimed the space. Sil clipped. This one mimicked my voice. Not anymore. She uploaded a voice packet, part raw scream, part lullaby. It shook the mimic loop until it couldn't replicate. The code stuttered. Collapsed. Gone. Survivor number 7. That's how you reclaim language. Not with apology. With clarity. Back at Centra, survivors gathered. Some silent. Some speaking for the first time in months. No camera. No hashtags. Only red thread passed hand to hand, a ritual. You're still stitched to us. Phoenix watched Sil move through the crowd like a bridge. Cassandra stepped beside her, holding a folder she hadn't opened until today. Cassandra. My mother logged every Directive 8 vote. She was silent while they voted yes. Phoenix. She didn't protect you. Cassandra. No. But I protect me now. She dropped the folder into the archive flames. Not erasure. Closure. That night, they closed the loop. Phoenix returned to the rooftop, this time not for escape, but for expression. Cassandra brought speakers. Sil brought a beat. Together, they played a track stitched from memory fragments and rebellion signals. Sil, over the pulse. We are not reflections. We are source code. Phoenix. Built not from breaks, but from bridges. Cassandra. And everything they tried to use to silence us, sings. As the music built, candles lit across balconies, alleyways, fire escapes. Survivors painted old ID tags with gold ink and dropped them into rain barrels. They planted roots where uprooting had once defined them. At the center of it all, 3 women. Not symbols. Not ghosts. Just chosen truth. The sky glowed like someone cracked open dawn early. Phoenix pulled Cassandra close, forehead to temple. Phoenix. We never got perfect. But we got real. Cassandra, smiling. Real's what survives. Sil stepped beside them, no fanfare. Just belonging. Sil. Feedback loop closed. Phoenix. Not closed. Remixed. They watched the city pulse. Not in threat. In rhythm. Some stories don't end. They echo. Not because they're unfinished, but because they leave space for others to begin. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe and like this video and follow me for more stories. You are always welcome here, and leave me a comment or a thumbs up, just letting me know if you like the story and would like more, or is there perhaps an idea that you would like to share or let me write for you.